Beckham, that is Beckham! Goal!
David Beckham!
Second goal for Real Madrid, David Beckham!
On January 12, 2007, David Beckham shocked the world, leaving Real Madrid to sign a deal with the LA Galaxy of Major League Soccer. The move was heavily criticized by football pundits.
God, it's time to burst the Beckham bubble.
I don't think that he's the sharpest tool in the toolbox. Like, why else would you do it?
Why would Beckham, one of the greatest footballers ever, go to America, a country where only 2% of people said soccer was their favorite sport to watch? And why MLS? Soccer superstars played in European top flights like the Premier League, La Liga, and Bundesliga, not MLS. The league was an afterthought for American sports fans. MLS averaged only 15,000 fans per game the year before, crowds that were nearly 6 times smaller than the 85,000 screaming fans in Madrid. MLS also averaged a meager 263,000 TV viewers in 2006, a far cry from the millions averaged by American leagues like the NFL, NBA, and MLB. But the most puzzling part of Beckham's move? The money. His $6.5 million annual salary was a 70% pay cut from what he made at Real Madrid. And with a salary cap of just $2 million, it was unclear how the LA Galaxy could even afford him. But Beckham saw the bigger picture, because the fine print of his deal had little known incentives that would eventually turn his $6.5 million salary into more than $500 million. This is how David Beckham negotiated one of the greatest sports contracts of all time. Before we go into the groundbreaking LA Galaxy deal in 2007, we need to go back to the beginning and understand how David Beckham even arrived at MLS in the first place. David Beckham was born on May 2nd, 1975, in East London, England. He was born into a working class family. His father Ted was an appliance repairman, and his mother Sandra was a hairstylist. And the Beckham family had one love, Manchester United football. Since he was a little boy, Beckham's dream was to play for the Red Devils at Old Trafford. And like most English kids, Beckham played soccer from the moment he could walk. Even as a little boy, he flashed the potential to be a special player. At the age of 11, Beckham won the Bobby Charlton Soccer School's National Skills Competition. Charlton said Beckham was the most talented 11-year-old player he'd ever seen in his 6 years running the school. And winning the competition caught the attention of none other than the Beckham family's beloved team, Manchester United. Manchester saw the potential talent Beckham possessed, so the Red Devils gave Beckham something he could have never imagined, a club trial. All throughout his teenage years, Beckham visited Old Trafford for week-long training sessions with United. But in 1991, at just 16 years old, Beckham's boyhood dream took a huge step in coming true when he packed his bags and left home to join Manchester United's youth training squad. And perhaps no one, not even Beckham himself, knew just how big of a generational superstar was coming. Almost immediately when David Beckham set foot in Old Trafford, he proved the hype was real. Manchester United's youth squad in 1992 included legends like David Beckham, Nicky Butt, Gary Neville, and Paul Scholes, and the team was unstoppable. They dominated everyone they faced en route to the Youth FA Cup, and Beckham impressed Manchester United so much that he ended up making his professional debut later that year. And that was just a sign of things to come. With Beckham's precision passing and trademark bending free kicks, the Red Devils began to rule the Premier League. In Beckham's 9 seasons with Manchester United, the club won 6 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League crown, 4 English Super Cups, and an Intercontinental Cup. And Beckham quickly became a star, on and off the pitch. He was named captain of the England national football team, and he married Victoria Adams, otherwise known to the world as Posh Spice, of the popular music group Spice Girls. And they formed one of the biggest power couples of the early 2000s.
Victoria and David Beckham!
David and Victoria Beckham.
David Beckham, Victoria.
Beckham officially secured his place as one of the world's biggest stars. A bidding war broke out between powerhouse clubs Barcelona and Real Madrid, and Madrid ended up acquiring Beckham from Manchester United on a $50 million transfer. And to cap it all off, Beckham made history off the field also, becoming the first athlete ever to sign a lifetime contract with Adidas for a whopping $160 million. Beckham seemingly had it all, but the craziest part is he was just getting started. Beckham's 4 years at Real Madrid were full of ups and downs. The club won the Spanish Super Cup his first year in Madrid, but they failed to win a single La Liga title during Beckham's first 3 seasons with the team, and they also cycled through 6 different managers during Beckham's 4 seasons. But even with these struggles, Beckham mania still ran wild. The club sold more than 1 million Beckham shirts within just 6 months of his arrival, and Beckham was responsible for $600 million in merchandise sales across his 4 seasons at Real Madrid, which contributed to a staggering 137% increase in club profits. And this is critical to note, because while Beckham started to deal with more injuries and took a slight step back in his play on the pitch, his commercial value to a club was undeniable. So as his last season in Madrid wound down, Beckham was 31 years old and had an important decision to make: continue playing in the top flights of European football, or achieve true global superstardom by moving across the Atlantic to play in the world's most lucrative sports market. So in early 2007, David Beckham announced his decision. He was coming to America. He signed a 5-year, $32.5 million deal to join the LA Galaxy of Major League Soccer, and the move was met with immediate backlash.
I don't think he's got 2 pennyworth of brains in his head to know what he's doing anyway.
Why else would you do it?
Many football critics obliterated the star for going to a league that was barely 10 years old and had little talent compared to European leagues. Real Madrid's president Ramon Calderon also ripped into Beckham, saying, "He's going to Hollywood to be half a film star. Our technical staff were right not to extend his contract. And that has been proven by the fact that no other technical staff in the world wanted him, except Los Angeles." But Beckham didn't care. He made it clear why he was moving across the pond, to grow the sport of soccer and build a global brand. Beckham said, "I'm not saying me coming over to the States is going to make soccer the biggest sport in America. That would be difficult to achieve. Baseball, basketball, American football, they've been around. But I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think I could make a difference. I realize I'm not as recognized in the US as I am around Europe, around other parts of the world. But hopefully, playing for the LA Galaxy will change that." But even with his personal goals, the most obvious question on everyone's mind was, why the hell would Beckham take a 70% pay cut? He was making $20 million a season at Real Madrid, and likely could have gotten a similar offer at another European club. And how could the LA Galaxy even afford to pay him? Real Madrid's payroll alone was worth tens of millions of dollars. Now, Beckham was somehow going to make $6.5 million per year in a league with a $2 million salary cap. But that's where things got interesting. First, the salary cap issue. MLS wanted Beckham so badly that they created a new rule to pay him. It's officially called the Designated Player Rule, but it's more commonly known as the Beckham Rule. This new rule allowed MLS teams to essentially pay one player outside of the league's $2.1 million salary cap. So the LA Galaxy only needed to count $400,000 of Beckham's salary against their team's salary cap each season. But that still didn't make up the difference between his $20 million salary at Real Madrid and his new $6.5 million salary in LA. So this is where Beckham and his agent got creative, and where MLS did something they had never done to sweeten the deal. To help lure Beckham to Los Angeles, the LA Galaxy ended up guaranteeing Beckham an undisclosed percentage of all club revenue. So that meant Beckham would get a cut of every dollar the team made, from merchandise, tickets, and sponsorships, all the way down to the hot dogs and beer sold at games. And there was one more lucrative incentive hidden in the fine print of Beckham's contract: the right to purchase an MLS expansion team at a set price of $25 million upon retirement. Now, at the time, this didn't seem like a big deal. In fact, Beckham's $25 million franchise price tag was 150% higher than the $10 million fee Toronto paid in 2007 for its expansion club. But as the old saying goes, things change with time. Beckham's MLS career didn't start off the way that everyone had hoped for. He was often injured during his first few seasons in LA, and from 2007 to 2009, he played in less than half of the Galaxy's 90 MLS matches. The superstar was also criticized and booed by Galaxy fans for taking loan spells with AC Milan in the offseason, and he tore his Achilles tendon playing on loan for Milan in 2010. But things took a turn in 2011 and 2012. Beckham played in the majority of matches for the LA Galaxy, and he helped lead the team to 2 consecutive MLS Cups. This was a great outcome for the LA Galaxy and MLS, but it was even better for Beckham. Remember that revenue sharing agreement that he negotiated in his contract? Well, it ended up adding an additional $18 million to his $32.5 million salary over 5 seasons. And when you add in his existing sponsorships and new endorsement deals with brands like Giorgio Armani, Yahoo, Electronic Arts, Burger King, and others, Beckham's MLS contract ended up bringing in a total of $255 million. This means Beckham averaged over $50 million of income per season in MLS, a 155% increase from the money he made at Real Madrid. And in total, Beckham made an astounding $800 million by the time he retired from professional soccer in 2013. Beckham's impact was felt all around MLS, and is still felt today. The superstar was instrumental in MLS securing its first TV rights deal, an $8 million annual agreement at the time that put MLS games in millions of homes across the United States. The league then signed a $90 million per year deal with ESPN, Fox Sports, and Univision Deportes in 2014, and a $250 million per year deal with Apple TV in 2022. Beckham also contributed to a significant growth in MLS attendance. For example, before his arrival in 2007, MLS averaged 15,000 fans per game, but today, average MLS attendance is up 40% to over 21,000 fans per game. And Charlotte FC broke the MLS attendance record earlier this year when 74,479 fans attended its season-opening match at Bank of America Stadium.
MLS record crowd near 75,000 fans.
And furthermore, the Beckham rule is single-handedly responsible for helping MLS teams bring European stars like Wayne Rooney, Thierry Henry, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic to play in the league. But more importantly for MLS, by the time Beckham left the league, 7 franchises were added, and another 16 have been added since. This growth has enabled MLS franchise valuations to skyrocket. For example, the average MLS franchise was worth $37 million in 2008, but the average MLS franchise today is now worth $582 million. That's a 1,472% increase. And while you could argue that David Beckham's MLS career was a win-win for both Beckham and the league, the reality is he was the true winner of it all. Remember that clause that Beckham negotiated in his contract that allowed him to buy an MLS expansion team at any point in the future for $25 million? Well, on February 5th, 2014, less than 1 year after retiring from soccer, Beckham officially exercised the option and was announced as the new owner of an expansion team in Miami, Florida. The club was set to begin playing in 2017, but of course, things didn't go as planned. As part of his expansion agreement with MLS, Beckham and his ownership group had to secure a new stadium, and that proved to be very difficult. From 2014 to 2018, 5 stadium deals collapsed for Beckham due to political and local business opposition and landowners refusing to sell property. And in those 4 years, Beckham's ownership group changed 3 different times. Things got so bad for Beckham that he almost gave up on putting an MLS team in Miami altogether, but he decided to keep trying. And in January 2018, after Beckham and co-owner Jorge Mas secured an official new stadium plan in Miami, his franchise was finally approved by MLS. The franchise would officially be known as Club Internacional de Football Miami, or Inter Miami CF. And even with all of the ups and downs, the killed stadium plans, the political fights, and 4 years of time, the wait was still worth it to Beckham. Why? Because even with all of those struggles, $25 million for an MLS expansion franchise was an absolute steal for David Beckham. You see, Beckham negotiated that clause in his initial MLS deal in 2007, and franchise valuations had since skyrocketed because of the publicity that he brought to the league. For example, New York City FC paid a $100 million expansion fee in 2013. Then from 2017 to 2018, Austin FC, Cincinnati FC, and Nashville SC each paid $150 million. In 2019, St. Louis SC paid a $200 million MLS expansion fee. And that same year, Charlotte FC paid a whopping $325 million fee to join the league. So compared to other recent expansion teams, David Beckham received a $75 to $300 million discount for Inter Miami CF. And today, Inter Miami is already the 10th most valuable MLS club, with a franchise value of $585 million, which is 2,240% more than the $25 million Beckham and his co-owners paid for the team. In the end, the numbers don't lie. 15 years after leaving European football behind for the MLS in Hollywood, David Beckham pulled off one of the greatest sports deals of all time, and things are only looking up from here. Inter Miami CF has gotten better and better each year in MLS. The club is soon breaking ground on its new stadium development project, Miami Freedom Park, a 25,000-seat stadium property that will include hotels, commercial real estate, and a 58-acre public park. And with rumors of soccer legend Lionel Messi ready to leave PSG to join Inter Miami CF, David Beckham may end up sparking another historic era of growth for Major League Soccer.